aka people of Detroit. We wanna put people on. You know what I'm saying? We wanna get the world to know more about Detroit.
Well, what makes us different at the Pod is that we want to have real stories by real people and it displaying real triumphs. At the end of the day, in Detroit, one thing we know how to do is hustle harder.
Yo, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Sir LA.
And it's me, your girl, Dahlia.
And y'all in here rocking with The Pod, aka
The people of Detroit.
Yes. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we got a Detroit legend. I always switch the title when we get certain people in here. So today, the Pod is Pioneers of Detroit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because this one individual, man, he has made his mark in the city. He been doing this shit for over 25 plus years. I'm talking about hard work, dedication, has worked with many artists among the city, outside the city, just to name a few. You know what I'm saying? 7 in general. You know what I'm saying? Royce the 5'9". You know what I'm saying? Even Tech 9. But his catalog is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he humble, so I'm going to say it for him because at the end of the day, we try to make sure our legends get a certain platform and a certain light put on them because, you know what I'm saying, all the younger generations, they need to know where their originality came from and where their style came from and where their hip-hop came from, you know what I'm saying, within the city. You know what I'm saying? And today, we got Mr. Bowtie Guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A.K.A. Maestro in the building, brother. What's good, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
For sure, man.
Hello, Mr.
Feeling
Maestro.
good. Yes, man.
No bow tie today, though.
No, you was cleaning in the red bean.
That's still your name. That's still your name, though.
Yes, sir.
It's still your name, though. But he ain't got one on day, but it's all good. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? First off, we want to start off by asking, what hood made Maestro? What hood made you?
Which one first? Okay. I stayed on Whitcomb retirement, so I'm like in too deep. Like this is way back in the day. Right? So
That's West Side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
West Side.
Okay.
My mom moved me from over there. I was mad. She moved me away from all my friends.
Right.
But she moved me over to 7 Mile, Livernois, like the Sherwood Forest area.
Okay.
And I was mad then. And I didn't realize till I was like 24 that my mom had saved my life.
Wow.
By moving me because of the stuff I was getting into over there. And then,
Right.
I remember they put me in a room. They put me and like 12 other kids from my middle school in the room, like some scared straight type stuff. Dude,
No, you
No,
can
do
say
your thing.
we go off your flow.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, so they put us all in the room, and I could tell by the people that they lined up in the hallway, like, this ain't good. I know what we do, so this ain't good. Got in the room, and there was like, the kids from Juvie and Gang Squad that was running around the neighborhood jumping us and stuff. They all, like they in the classroom with us. I'm like, I know these, I was running from you last week. So yeah, it was a thing where they told us in the room, like, look around the room, pay attention to the room. By the time you're 25, half the people in this room would be dead or in jail. And we all like, oh man, you can't be telling kids like that, like,
Not taking it seriously.
And
yeah.
I turned 24. I cried on my 24th, my 25th, and my 26th birthday.
Oh, wow.
24, I realized how many people in that room was dead or in jail. Then I'm like, oh shit, I got one more year left. that's what my brain did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then 25, I'm like, okay, just a year. And then 26, the tears was a different reason. I'm like, man, that's stupid. Why did I put that on myself? You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I had graduated past that, and it was like I had a whole new life after 26. It was like, okay, now I'm not dead. I'm not in jail. Pretty, doing pretty good with the music thing. Not exactly where I wanted to be.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm kind of getting all off the subject.
That was dope.
This
was
your interview, bro.
Yeah,
This
that
your
was
interview.
dope.
So
Because I've never heard nobody have
yeah,
that evaluation over that phrase, that thought process. That was really dope and organic, and I really appreciated that. So thank you for sharing that. Transparency, that's hard. Thank you for that.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, when we have people on our platform, whoever we got in the hot seat, this is all about them. Mm-hmm. So we want you to be able to look back at this. Your kids look back at this and be like, "Damn, Daddy felt that way." Yeah. Express yourself.
Okay, so to get a little more elaborate, man.
Yeah,
it wasn't
express
necessarily
yourself,
like it was a bunch of different things, a bunch of different environments that kind of made me who I am, and I still didn't. And you don't realize it while it's happening till hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
So, my mom. Another reason I used to get mad at her every summer, from the time I was like 7 to 8 years old, she'd taken me to this summer camp and this music camp and this thing over here and this. And I'm like, I just want to sit and play softball with my friends. You know what I'm saying? I just want to play baseball with my friends. Like, shoot at alley cats and shit. So it was like every summer she kept me out of the neighborhood. And I'm in Quebec this time and Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp here, there, and by the time I turned like 18, I had, traveled like 3 or 4 countries and been all over, and I realized a bunch of my friends who were, who I grew up with,
right,
the furthest outside of Detroit they had been was Sandusky, Ohio. Cedar Point. So it was like I realized that a lot of the things I saw, a lot of the different programs she had me in, made me see everything, a lot different, made me appreciate different genres of music. Like I was, singing at my first job, I was 7, singing at the Catholic church.
Dope.
I was $14 an hour. At 7 years old, I was getting bank.
You was rich.
I don't think I've ever heard that. That's crazy.
Right.
Play, video, arcade and chips and pop and the rest. the other half, the other half, she saved up and yeah. But it all those different things, all those different choirs and bands, and it just kind of gave me a different appreciation for music that I didn't understand was different at the time, because it was just like
it was a part of your routine.
Yeah, you just growing up. So yeah, that was
she invested in you
Facts.
a lot, and I thank her to this day. Like literally, this morning, I'm like, yo, I was mad at you.
Shout out, Mom, dude.
I was mad at you.
Shout out, Mom, dude. We thank you,
saving my
Mom,
life for real.
We thank you.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of parents out here like your mom. They need to be thanked because, we had interviewers on here. Like, for instance, we had Crystal Bradford. She WNBA gold medalist, and she came on here and she said her mom, like, literally, when she wasn't doing good in school, her mama came up to the school with her book bag, with her stuff. Like, okay, what she got to get? What she got to learn? You know what I'm saying? It was like
now ain't no waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you put your kid in situations to learn from, and that's what your mom did. She put you in different camps. Maybe he'll like this. Let's do the music thing. Let's see if he like this over here. Let's see, and then you gravitated towards music. You know what I'm saying? And that was a blessing within itself, because you see where you came from just off your mom putting your experience at another level. You know what I'm saying? Because most 7, 6-year-olds don't have that privilege.
Yeah, I was set
You know
up.
what I'm saying?
I had baby pictures with me behind the keyboard.
Yeah, that's why I say. And that was your dad. That was your dad holding you up behind the keyboard, right?
Yeah. Oh, you saw that picture?
Yeah, I most definitely saw that picture. I
research.
do my homework. I do my homework, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I make sure
That's the part we ain't tell you about.
Yeah, we call it ghetto journalism. So, you know what I'm saying? I may bring up a few things that you kind of forgot about.
Probably.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
That's
at the end of the day, we here to represent the people of Detroit because that's our name and that's what we do.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
thing.
For sure. All day. So, you know, growing up in the household, you say you was, you know, in church at a young age and singing and even had a goddamn bag at 8 years old. You got your own bag. We still asking our mama for $3 for
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and I know, did you start at Cass Tech? Did you start at Cass and then go to Mumford?
Yeah, they kicked me out. How do you know that? I went there. I went there 1 year, and they kicked me out. That was the blessing in disguise. Because, man, this is
got you reminiscing.
Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking. I'm in middle school. Like, I kind of got like banned out of the band. on some personal stuff that I don't even like. I was supposed to sing at like one of the spring concerts or something, like little group or whatever. And the band director, she had some kind of personal issue with me. I don't know why.
Oh wow!
Or I think it was with the. I don't think it started off with me. I think it was the group. And the songs we were singing, she didn't think that, she thought we was too young to be singing that song. So she waited till the day of the spring concert after, I got 25 people in the audience. They done bought tickets and everything. And she cut us from the show. The night of the show. And it was just like, okay. And then, my mom and my dad went back there and
let them know.
Cut a fool.
They tore her ass the fuck up.
Yeah, you got a whole family.
And I never that was the only time, maybe the only time I'd seen the two of them on the same page, and I'm in the same room. I was like, "Yo, this is weird." They let her have it. So she took that. I was in the 7th grade. So 8th grade year, I'm like, okay, I gotta get in the band. I done learned. My homeboy is the drum captain. He done spent all summer teaching me the rudiments and everything. I know everything. I'm ready. I'm ready. Right, first day in. So she's like, yeah, we need snare drummers for band. I'm like, and the whole band, it's a class, right? I'm not in that class. The whole band was like, Chafin ready? Like he know everything. And she was like, nah, anybody but Chafin.
Oh, wow.
Damn. Right. So after first hour, we passing each other, our class passing the band class in the hallway, and the whole band looking at me like, I'm like,
what's going on?
They like, what you do to Miss? I ain't gonna say her name. What you do to Miss such and such? I'm like, I ain't like nothing.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, she don't like you, so she literally picked a bunch of dudes that had never picked up sticks, couldn't read music, didn't know nothing, just to avoid me. So, that was that, whatever. So I get the cast. I'm like, I get a clean slate. I audition during the summer. Boom, automatic marching band, automatic concert, band, whatever the chorale was or whatever. I auditioned with the choir director. Everybody's like, oh, you do this music thing. You're not just like, you've been doing this for a minute. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I done skipped a bunch of classes going into my 9th grade year.
Nice.
First day of school, get my schedule. Boys beginners choir. No marching band, and it was like they gave me like a lunch, a study hall, and like a bunch of just classes where it was just like, yo, y'all just filling up my schedule. Like, what happened? So I go to my counselor, like, oh, what happened? She's like, oh, you got to talk to the band director. You got to talk to the teachers. So I go to the class. It's like 15, 20 kids around the teacher. They all asking their different questions. I'm sitting there being patient with my little sheet of paper. And I'm like, hey, I auditioned. You remember me with the guy with the blah, blah? Yeah.
Remember me, the dope one? Yeah.
She was like, no, I don't remember. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, the day you said such and such. My mom was like, she's like, no, I don't remember, and you're interrupting my class. And turned around, start talking to the rest of the class. And I'm sitting there like,
Wow.
So I go to the choir director, and he did the exact same thing to me. So I'm like, yo, what is going on? Years later, this is after I got kicked out of Cass. I'm at Mumford. They done basically like gave me the music department. Like by the time my 8th grade year, they let me rewrite the alma mater.
Wow.
I wrote a jazz song with me and my band I had back then, and we took the whole band to this was Mumford's first time at the Evening of Fine Arts, the jazz band, off a song that I wrote. Choir president, drum captain. I'm like getting ready for college with all these accolades, and
Mumford really put you in an opportunity where you could really show your range being there.
Right.
So it's a skate party, like roller wheels or something. Go to roller wheels, go to the concession stand. The band director from middle school is back there serving popcorn. So I'm like, oh, hey, how you been? Right?
Remember me?
Remember me?
Yeah.
How's life been? Right? She back. I'm like, can I get a large Slurpee, please? So she's like, what you been up to? What you been into? So I lay it on thick. I'm like, yo, I got a gig at Baker's in a couple of weeks. I got
Going crazy.
this kind of scholarship. Blah blah blah. I got 6 scholarships. Went did blah, 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 blah,
going crazy.
Right, going crazy. And she's just looking at me, and the look on her face, I could see that she was sorry for what she did. But not sorry enough to say something about it, right?
Well,
she
people don't want to admit they're wrong, but she felt it.
Like you did all of this, and I still tried to stop you. So then, years after that, I'm at Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
My niece's birthday party. The kids need some tokens or something. I'm going to the thing, getting some tokens. Get to the door. Who walks in? The band director from middle school and the band director from Cass. Like this.
What the shit?
Get in the booth, and they kissing in the booth. And I'm like, that's what it was.
They knew each other that whole time and
That's
was communicating and blocked you when you got there.
That's what it was.
Now, when people conspire together to try to stop a black child from excelling.
Oh, I hope they watching this. I remember.
They will watch this.
Oh, man.
They will see this.
I didn't do that to a child,
that sounds
man. You do that
really
to a kid,
ill.
That's shady.
That you conspire together
Yeah.
to chop a black man down before he
Still
grows.
couldn't stop me.
And it did
But
not
that's
stop
how
you.
it be.
And it did not stop you at all.
But that's how it be
interesting.
during
That's
when you in
interesting.
school. Cause when you said that, it made me think about when basketball players in high school, when they the man, and the coaches be holding their recruiting letters.
Yeah.
Holding
You know
them
what I'm
back.
saying? It's like why?
And it
Why
was
the
like
fuck
this.
is you doing
It was
that?
like this big thing, especially in my family. Like I had 2 cousins at the time. Like going to Cass, all 3 of us rode the same car. You know what I'm saying? Up there, at least 2 or 3 of my aunts. My mom graduated from there, so it was like I was supposed to be.
That was the thing.
Right. And all the schools that's looking at there and all, So I'm like, oh, okay, this is the way. And then when they took that away from me, I didn't want to go to school. It was like,
It drained you.
if I can't do music, I don't want to be here. I don't care about this Latin, this dead language. What are we doing here? Why are we here, man? So, yeah, I got over to Mumford, and they embraced me and my my want to do this music thing.
And that's super.
Shout outs to Miss Thompson. Thank you. Thank you. John Wilkins. Everybody used to talk about the white guy that used to dance with Mumford at Broad Street. He was a bad dancer, but he was cool. He taught me a lot.
Since you naming people, I'm gonna name off a few people that may have an inspiration to you. Miss Cohill.
Wow.
Dr. Deborah Smith.
Yo, how are you doing? David Bartlett.
David
I know what
Bartlett.
you about to do.
D. Thompson, because you were just talking about Thompson. John Wilkins.
Yo, you have a photographic memory.
So, those people I just named, how did they have an effect on your career and on your life in general?
They, Miss Cohill, that was my my elementary school teacher, music teacher that came in right after. You didn't get this one. Right after Miss Volker died. Miss Volker got killed in a car accident.
Oh, that's cool.
She was a white lady that gave me my first solo, and she was trying to, she kind of pulled me over to the side and was like, "This is how you do this," and I'm like 6, and then she got killed in a car accident. Miss Cohill took over. How did you get that? Jesus Christ!
People in Detroit.
Yeah, man, that's wild. That is wild. And Miss Cohill started a piano class. And that was like my first like real kind of piano class, but it was like everybody playing, the entertainer, the ice cream truck song. But while everybody else is playing, I'm over here like boom, boom, boom. I had to do that part. I'm on the real piano. Everybody is like on the. So it was like it was the teachers who saw that I was hungry. They would say, "Okay, we're gonna give you some extra work. Do this," because they knew that I was up for the challenge.
That's dope.
And,
Nice. Because you got into
David Bartlett. That was my first job. How did you had to have talked to my mom?
I have not talked to your mother.
Shout
out my dude.
That is wild.
I think that's the first time we ever been accused of calling the mama. That's hilarious.
Bartlett, Dr. Deborah Smith. Now, she was a genius. She was a genius. She was wow. She was a professor at Wayne State.
Nice.
And she started a choir for kids called the Civic Youth Chorus of Detroit.
Nice.
And later on, it got absorbed. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't know how old y'all are. Y'all remember when Channel 56 did the City for Youth kind of thing? Trying to City for Youth, it's time to make a change.
Yeah, Rico say he know
That's
about it.
He telling his age over there. Rico remember it.
Right? So they did a commercial. They did it was like this big thing where they took over for 1 hour in Detroit. They took over channel. They took over all the channels. 2, 4, 7, 20, 20, 50, 56, 50, 62. Like it was one thing airing on all the channels. There's one show that PBS had put together for Detroit, and when they sing the song, the last kid that they show in that is me.
Oh wow!
I was probably like 8 or 9 years old.
And on all the networks and stuff.
Yeah, she was teaching college level stuff to like 6 and 7 year olds.
Right,
and I didn't look like I think I sang in that choir till I was like 12 or 13. Coincidentally, that's where I met Monica Blair. I was 7 years old when I met her.
Oh wow! So
Crazy,
y'all
right?
go back,
Shout out
right?
Monica Blair.
Yeah.
That's dope, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I can, you know what I'm saying, have you feeling the way you feeling, because that's what this interview is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about touching bases on things that
We gotta talk about how you did that, man.
So we gotta talk about how you did that.
We gotta talk because you've been talking to somebody and somebody
His
else
ghetto
been talking.
journalism.
So I gotta talk to you about who you've been talking to and who's talking about me.
All right, so the next thing I'm gonna bring up, I want you to tell me how I found out about this. Maybe I called my Dukes and was like, "Hey, you got any stories on your son?"
Like he wiping, like who has to?
I'm scared of this next one. Okay.
Can you please tell the people about your experiences as a teenager when you used to sing for Miss Maya Angelou?
Oh wow. That was a one-off. That was Miss Cohill at elementary school, and I have no idea. It was like somebody was doing a benefit or some type of like celebratory thing for. It was Dave Thomas and Maya Angelou, and Miss Stone Street. She was a angel at Edmondson. She was like the school counselor kind of person. She set it up with Miss Cohill because I just remember those being the only two teachers there. Right. And we sitting up here with all these, old people, and We don't know what's going on. We got on our white shirts and bow ties. And we just waiting around, and we see the Wendy's dude walk past, and and then we see Maya Angelou, and we had just like, so that was a one-off, but it was quite an experience.
That's dope.
That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. Because I know you started your, producing. That was your first thing that you started getting into as far as in music. I mean, besides you singing in church and things of that nature, like producing was like your first thing that you started in what, 96 or 7, I would say? Because you graduated in 98, correct?
Yeah, man. Yeah. That is very, very accurate. The first time I did a track, I worked on like a beat for real.
Was it with Wine?
You got a cheat sheet.
No, I'm trying to think because you starting to say something. Was it with Marv One?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a song that he wanted to do for his mom?
Christ.
It was a Anita Baker song. You're my angel.
Man, who are you, dog?
I'm sorry, L.A.
Jesus Christ. Nostradamus. All right.
That's Mr. Discovery over
This
there.
is amazing what's happening right now.
Hey, no, 100, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to let you do the rest of this.
No, man, you know what I'm saying? What I bring up, you got to go and elaborate on. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, that's it. Like, I think I just told the conversation I had with my mom today. I admitted today that we were skipping school. And Dale was the only one that was driving. He was the old enough to drive. And I think at the time Dale and Marv were still going to the same school, or Dale got kicked out or something. I don't know. We was all getting kicked out of schools. Anyway, so they came pick me up from Mumford. And we went to Maestro. That was the first time I saw Proof and Bizarre. Was that day.
Oh, wow.
And while we're walking, this one, Mo used to be off of Finkel and Wildermere. So we getting out the car, and as we walking up the steps, or trying to walk up the steps, Biz and Proof coming off the steps. Proof jumps off of the, like the steps is this way, you got that brick piece of porch that you put your pots and plants on. Yeah. So he jumps off of that on Dale's head. Like, damn. Like the elbow type shit. Like, who the fuck and then everybody was just like, oh yeah. And I'm looking like, wait, what? Like, how is
that's the norm.
How is this cool? Like, who is this nigga, man? So that was the first day I met Proof and Bizarre. I don't even know if Biz remember that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, Biz was Sunday. He was 2 days ago. He was there. But yeah, went up there, met Mo Master, and I got a guitar the day before the session. Dale calls me like, hey, we got a session with Mo tomorrow. Marv trying to do X, Y, and Z. You're my angel for his mom. And I don't want to know. I'm trying to chop this up. Want to know how much of this you can play by tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I learned it tonight and play it, but I just got a guitar like 15 minutes ago.
right.
Like, what? It's like, yeah, my mama Fred had a guitar. He did a raid in somebody's house and they had a guitar.
And brought you a gift.
I brought it over here. I'm like, all right, fuck it.
I'll take it.
So he's like, but the session is tomorrow. He's like, you know how to play guitar? I said, no. I'll know this line by tomorrow. And sure enough, next day I stayed up all night. And stayed up all night, learned that one string.
That's hilarious.
That's a dope story.
And then the next day we, put it together. And
nice.
Mo Master, at first he they had me in the studio. I don't know if anybody been to Mo Master. He had like this sequencer in the hallway, and it was sitting on like not even a nightstand. It was like a little itty bitty table and a chair. Like the studio was there, the bathroom there, his bedroom or mama room right there. It's like you right there, and and they closed the door, so I'm sitting out in the hallway with these headphones on. I'm like,
Oh wow.
This is not the way I view,
This
idealistic first studio experience.
This isn't happening the way I thought it was gonna happen.
I had to chill
Like
out the
this
hallway
what they
and make
do
the beat.
every time they come to the
That
studio.
was crazy. That was crazy. But what's crazy about bringing up Maestro, last night I was at Hush's record release party, the one he did with Bobby J for the 718-2313 is the name of the album. I recorded and mixed the whole thing. Got a couple of joints. The joint with Trick on there. I produced that one.
Nice.
But I'm walking in last night, and the dude walks. He's on the phone. Before I even get inside the club, he's like, "Maestro, I just want to tell you, man, I've been watching you for a long time. Just good job on everything that you're doing. I'm a big fan. Oh yeah, by the way, my name is I'm Cadillac Dale. What? I'm a fan of you, dog. Like, what are you talking about? He on the phone like, hey, you hear that? I said I was a fan of him. He said I was a fan of me.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And I'm like,
That's
yo,
crazy.
and Cadillac Dale did everybody knows Soulful Money. And that string that come in that that was done on that Juno 106 that Mo used to have on Finkel.
Talk that shit.
Yeah.
Talk that shit.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a dog ass story, man. And during that time frame when you were, going through learning, producing, engineering, the whole nine. I know you graduated Mumford in '98, and once you started to do that, basically, what was your next step after you left and graduated Mumford?
I went to Kentucky State with 5 scholarships, either
Nice.
5 or 6,
Okay.
and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world until I realized that I started my freshman year of college with 6 jobs. And I was like, oh, because they want them out. Like, if they give you a basketball scholarship and you don't perform,
Run it
no
back.
more money. Yeah,
Run
'cause
it
this is what I'm giving you this money for, to do this.
Exactly.
So it was like piano and jazz band, trombone and concert band. I was terrible at trombone. And then snare and marching band, and then like 2 or 3 different choirs, and it was like
Wow.
everybody want their rehearsal time and extra rehearsal, and the
That sounds
band
crazy.
don't care what time of the day or night. They don't care what time it is. We working. You know what I mean? Like, the band had to be there. Freshmen had to be there like a week and a half before school started. The band had to be there like damn near 2 months before school. So we was there before the football team was there.
Damn, it sound like drumline.
Man, just marching around the campus with nobody on there. It was just crazy. I'm like, yo, like the first day we marched around for like 6 hours. I'm like,
Lord.
Oh my
this
god,
can't be.
That was a mental thing. They were just trying to make sure that you just can. They just want to see what type of people, what I'm saying, was
that
in the
damn
band.
near- that
They
damn
wanted
near
to test
broke me.
y'all, man.
That damn near broke me.
They wanted to
My
test
knee,
y'all.
but the side of my knee was bleeding that night. I was like, man, this is.
Jeez, you like, oh, listen, I
I
just
don't
want to be in the
know.
band.
I ain't signed up for all this shit.
Like, I just want to be in the band.
It's
What
like
the
if you
hell?
ignore
Man.
anything about the instruments, it's sounding almost like military.
Man, I loved every experience of it. Shout out Soul Section number 1. That was my drum line at Kentucky State. That's when I realized I was supposed to be doing beats.
Oh.
Like the first week of school, we in the you're in the dorm. They got the little office on the first floor. Everybody can use the computer. Cause this is 98. It wasn't a bunch of computers and shit. So we got computers you share in the dorm. So I walk past. I'm on my way out, and I hear what sounds like a dude making a beat in the room. I look in the room, and it's a dude sitting behind a computer. And I'm like, wait, how?
How's that happen?
You know what I'm saying? And this
You
is
looking
like,
for the da-da-da-da.
I'm looking for keyboards and drum machines and all of this, and I'm looking at the screen, and it was like a 303 bass line at the top, a 606 synth in the middle, and a 808 drum machine on the bottom. One play button. I'm like, yo, what is this?
What program
You like,
was
I
that?
got-
That's crazy.
What is this, dog? He's like, oh man, it's this new program called Rebirth. Such and such make it. I'm I'm like, man, can I, mess around with it? He's like, yeah. He's like, this button do this. He's showing me. I'm like, okay. I'm click, 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 click. 5 minutes later, it's like now mind you, the room is like, it ain't that big. It's like from here to, almost to the wall. It ain't even that big. It's like 20 people in that room. I'm in the zone. I don't even realize this is happening. Wow. And then 5 minutes later, I look up. It's 20 people in the room. The door to it's like 10 people
looking
in
at
the
what
door
you
going
doing.
like that. And I'm like, yo, what is happening? And the dude, this is back in the day where you couldn't start you couldn't start a program on a computer unless the disk was inside.
Yes, correct.
And that's why AOL used to
Jesus.
send you them 1,400
CDs,
AOL minutes
Exactly.
on that DVD, right?
Jesus.
So he's like, man, how much for that beat?
Wow.
Whoa.
You want to pay me for this?
You want to pay me
You a college student talking about money?
for me clicking this mouse for 5 minutes with your program? Because technically, without the disc, I don't have the beat.
Right.
The disc is the drum machine, and so you got the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, give me $25 and a copy of that CD. He's like, oh yeah, bet. I got a burner at my dorm. I have stupid. You could have been pimping me out for this disc for the rest of the year.
Exactly.
So I took that thing and I had like a little Yamaha, the PSR, the keyboard with the speakers on it. Like you see it, service merchandise at Target. So I had that, and I had this tape deck with three, the 3 joints where you could record. I used to make my mixtapes on that. So I click. I got a dog ass bass line with the 303. I got my Dr. Dre 606. I got these the only drums was on this thing is pure 808. So I'm like doubling and tripling up the time to try to get in between spots because anybody that know about that is like you only got 16 beats to work with, and I'm like, no, what if I want to do a roll or a triplet or whatever? So I'm like, let me double triple that up. So I got my system, and then I'm all right. Here we go. Hit record on the joint, hit play on the computer, and I would play live on the joints, and then sell the beat tapes to my friends for like $5. And
That was a ill ass hustle.
Yeah, everybody.
Off a new skill though at that.
That was good lunch money. Yeah,
like even though you knew music, you were new to that program.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
Everybody around campus, there was people I didn't even know was riding down the street. They ride down the street. You see them freestyle, and they freestyling my beats. It was dope.
No, that's dope.
Yeah. So then I dropped out again, and I realized that I didn't want 6 jobs, and I feel like they lied to me in the curriculum thing. Like they tell you, music performance and composition and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all of these classes are teaching me how to be a music teacher, which I commend anyone who has the patience to be a teacher. I love you. I wouldn't be me without people like that. I
that wasn't your path.
Don't have the patience for that. So I'm like, so I was talking to a couple of upperclassmen, and I'm talking to them about, my curriculum, music performance and composition. They start laughing at me. And I'm like, why y'all laughing? And so one of them asked the other one, they said, what's your curriculum? I said, music education. Asked the other one, what's your curriculum? Music performance and composition. And they ran down each other's classes, same exact classes. They was like, yo, they just added that to the brochure like a couple of years ago. It's the same thing. So I'm like, oh man, y'all teaching me how to be a teacher. So I came back home and fought with my mom again and convinced her. I don't know how, but somehow I convinced her to give me I think I asked for like $1,100 or $1,200 or something. It got down to $1,000 though. That was the negotiation. Did the contract on the loose leaf, a piece of loose leaf sheet of paper. and I had like 6 months to pay her back, however long it was to pay her back. I had to take $1,000 and go to Guitar Center and get whatever it was I was gonna do to make beats. I had to enroll in like community college too, or else the deal was not gonna go. So
there was some other stipulations, I'm sure.
For sure, she wasn't having it. So yeah, so I go to Guitar Center. I'm looking at the Rangers. I'm like, man, this MPC is $1,200
by herself.
This keyboard I want is 2 bands. Like, man, can't do this. So I'm looking at the Rangers, looking at other stuff that can get me by until I can, make some real beats. And a dude walks up behind me and is like, "Yo, man, you too good for what you own. Why is you even messing with that?" Like, I'm like, what? Who's you talking? Like,
right? Like, who are you?
Yeah. So he kind of came at me like kind of sideways. I'm like, "Hey, man, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing what I want to play." He's like, "No, man, you should be playing this. You good enough for that." I'm like, I can't really afford that, man. I'm 19, bro. Like, like that's not really in the budget. He's like, "Well, what's the budget?" Getting kind of personal, ain't you? So, long story short, we had the conversation, and he had the little side hustle thing. He was like, "Yo, I can get you that MPC and that rolling keyboard for $1,600. I said, 13, and you got a deal. He said, "Meet me at my house at 5:30. I said, "I'm not coming to your house. I'll call you. I'll let you know where we meeting up. Bring it over there." So I called Dale like, "Yo, I need you to get $300 in like the next 2 hours when you get off work, bro." So me, my mom, dude I met at Guitar Center, met up at Dale's house this week. So we meet up over there, and Dale's just kind of looking like, "Man, what is happening?" Right? And he brings in, the MPC, take it out the sheet or whatever, had it wrapped in the blanket and the keyboard, and did the transaction, and I turned it on, make sure everything worked. I'm like,
so
okay.
That was it.
Years later, the first real Silent Riot was in my auntie basement, right? Dale's stepmom basement. So I pull up one day, I see the dude that sold me the keyboards walking up the street. And I'm like, with his daughter. And I'm like, "What you doing over here?" He's like, "What you doing over here? I live right here."
Oh, wow.
So dude that we bought the keyboards from wound up living like 4 doors down from where we sat and made beats for like 4 or 5 years.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Came back full circle.
Yeah, came back full circle. So it's like,
damn.
But yeah, dropped out of college to do that. Came to Detroit to make beats, and
man, that's a very, very crazy story. How everything just come to fruition. Everything comes right back around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure y'all kind of work together on some musical type stuff, like, or it was just like
we tried. It was he had an artist, and it was just at the time how young I was, and how old the music was. It was just like, I don't want to do this. I will, but
I feel that
I don't want to do this. But I've grown up since then.
I want to ask you about something. I want to ask, like, what does disaster area mean to you?
Wow. So now I think I know who you talk to. No, because he didn't talk to nobody. His memory ain't that good.
I didn't talk to nobody.
He said, "I'm still trying to figure this out."
No, I didn't talk to nobody.
All right.
I didn't.
You had to.
I can tell you that.
Jesus Christ. Disaster area, that's shout outs to Dale. That's the founder of Silent Riot. That's my cousin. He his rap name was Disaster. Him and Bizarre was actually about to battle over the name.
Oh, wow.
Bizarre used to be Disaster.
Now that's
that makes sense.
That's crazy.
And then one day they was, and Dale didn't want to battle Biz. Nobody wanted to battle Biz, especially back then. Like, Biz was a problem. He just came one day and was like, "Oh man, yeah, take the name out Bizarre now." I was like, all right. So Dale's first album that I don't even know if this thing really came out. I think it like leaked or something.
Oh,
We was
wow.
like shopping it, but I don't think Disaster Area like
Was an official release.
it never was released. It's like I remember being where the Dreadnoughts used to hang out at, my man Cision crib. We was over there making beats. This was way back in the day. So it's like me, Cision, 01, Marv, Guilty, Fats, they all downstairs. They all downstairs in the basement,
Yes.
listening to beats, writing the shit. Me and Cision, 01 making the working on the beat, whatever. And I hear people like, woo, catching the hip hop Holy Ghost downstairs, and I'm like, man, I recognize that beat. And I go downstairs, and Guilty is asking Marv like, yo, this nigga crazy. Who is this? And we like, that's Dale. No, it's not. Dale rap? Dale rap? It was like, yeah, like that's how the whole thing. So Dale, his story goes, he got tired of paying for beats. He was rapping, wanted to be a rapper. He got tired of paying for beats.
So he started making
rappers. Yep. And Marv, he's just got tired of waiting on us for beats. So he started making them on his own because I take forever. Yeah.
So I'm sure it don't take forever nowadays. I'm sure you can.
Depending on the day.
You probably critique yourself so much, it probably would take a long time. But the average ear, you probably can knock a beat out.
Here's what usually happens. In the first 10, 15 minutes, if I'm making a beat in front of the client, they are, oh my God, they in love. I'm sitting there like,
I ain't even done shit.
Like, nah,
I ain't even scratched the surface.
Nah, man, this is like, sometimes it'll feel like a crash and burn. Like, yeah, the crash and burns be the worst. That's when it's different now. You can save everything real quick.
Right,
the crash and burn disc used to be expensive, and if the beat wasn't fresh, the sample wasn't fresh, why am I about to waste this disc space? So you turn the machine off, turn it back on. Everything gone, start from a clean slate. That's a crash and burn. I've had many of those. But enough where, like now, like I said, even what I feel will be my crash and burn, everybody else like, oh man, that's crazy dope.
Like that was just a throwaway. Wait a minute.
Yeah. I ain't got into some weird situations with that. Like, no, I don't want to put this out. They're like, man, you tripping. Like, it's not good. Whatever.
Oh man. So I'm gonna ask, when did you actually get your studio in the Greenfield Plaza? When did you actually get that?
Well, funny thing is, I didn't get it. It was these two dudes I worked with at Guitar Center, Paul and Jason. They was like best friends forever. How long? I used to think Jason was mixed because Paul was way too black on the inside for that to be his best friend. Jason's wife was black. His kids was gray. So it's like, gotta be, you know what I'm saying? They both had like the, cool haircuts, the way they talk. What I'm like, come on, man. So they wound up getting the studio. This is when Dirty Bird had a spot in Greenfield Plaza. He wound up taking over IV's old spot down there for a minute.
Shout out IV Doc.
Yeah, that's my man. Good guy. So Bird was trying to sign Paul and Jason as producers and bring them in, and they was like, well, instead of us coming down there and working in your studio, we'll just buy our own suite up the hall. So they did that. This is around the same time I decided that Guitar Center was not for me. I was working on Bizarre's not his first album because Attacking the Weirdos is first.
So you've been on so many years.
This is
crazy.
This is like Handicap Circus. This is like the first major. Sanctuary, like sign, right? So solo deal, boom, everything's going great. I get out to. He calls me while I'm working at Guitar Center. What you doing? I'm like, man, I'm working. What's up? Oh, okay. What you got up tomorrow? I'm working. Okay. Man, what's up? Hey, what's up? Okay, man, I got the budget. I'm like, oh, dope. He's like, yeah, man, we out here working. So I'm gonna need you to come to the studio. I'm like, all right, bet. Get out of sheet paper. What's the address? Where's the studio at? He said, studio's in Beverly Hills. I'm thinking 13 Mile. You know what I'm saying? That Beverly Hills. I'm like, okay, well, what's the address? It's like 13 Mile and what? He's like, I hear he got off the phone like this. Hey, this nigga think we in Michigan. I'm like, dog, this nigga, who is he in the room with? Why is he clowning me like this? He's hilarious. Like, no, baby boy, we out in California. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need you at the studio tomorrow. Whoa, wait.
Like, get up. Let's go.
I just told you I'm working now, work tomorrow. He's like, man, look, you gonna work your Guitar Center for the rest of your life? What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Chafin? I'm like,
hi.
I got some shit I gotta take care of.
Right, I gotta organize some shit.
What you gotta take care of? I'm like, I got bills. How much you need? X amount. He's like, I'm gonna call you back. Click. Call me back. Like, go to this place. Golly. Go to this place. Ask to speak to this person. Such and such. That's my A&R. He gonna call you. Man, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, man, what? So I go on my lunch break. I'm there with my man Johnny. Shout out Johnny Evans, Johnny Muhammad. He's like, I gotta see this. I'm taking you. I'm taking you to the bank. I gotta see this with my own eyes. Mm-hmm. So, go to the bank. Sure enough, I wait in line. And I'm like, can I speak to such and such? They're like, oh, she's down there. So I go to the end of the counter. Comes from behind the. She's still behind the bulletproof glass. She comes out. She looks at me. She's like, oh, you must be Maestro. Turns around and walks out. I'm like, okay. And I look at Johnny. He's like, not thinking. I got on the name tag to say Maestro Guitar Center, right? So she comes back with an envelope, slides it through the thing, and says, "Have a nice day." Wow. I'm like, man, what kind of shit am I in right now? Like, what just happened? So he's like, man, you just walked in the bank, no ID, no nothing. They didn't say your real name, and just slid you some cash. That's then crazy. The flight was set up. I went back to Guitar Center. I told my boss, I'm like, look,
I got this opportunity. I'm out.
You hire musicians at this place. You already know, He's like, yeah, I already knew when I hired you that this, this possibly was gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Blah blah. So I'm like, he said, you got, said it ain't got nothing to do with your quota. So at the end of the month, if I don't have my 4,000 in profit, whatever the number was at the time, if I don't have this number in profit, you gone. Everybody know that. Like, so you can be gone 29 days out the month. Give me my money, or you got to go. Right. Mm. So I went out there. It's a little Mexican dude out there with a sign that say Maestro.
I get in
the back of the car is Hennessy, fruit, Black and Miles back there. I'm like, oh man, this is everything I need, right? So I get out they pull up. Before we don't go to the hotel airport, straight to the studio. Mm-hmm. Straight to the studio. I get out, there's oranges growing from the trees. I'm like, oh man. They like, man, don't do that. That's illegal. That's somebody backyard. I'm picking they. The backyard was leaking over to the alley. It's right there, right? So God made this orange. Anyway,
right.
So I walk in. High Tech is there. Big Boy had just left, but he had doubled back. The next day, Raphael Sadiq came through. I'm like, yo, what is happening? What's the nigga name? Young Buck calls Bazaar. Like, my bad, OG. I know I said I was coming to the studio. They got me down here at these punk ass awards, the Vibe Awards, right?
That same year, all that shit pop.
They got me down here at these punk ass awards, man. I promise. As soon as I get out of here, I'm on you. He like, all right, later that same night, we're watching the news like,
wow.
Yeah, I don't think
Buck
gonna make it tonight, bro.
That's
I don't think he gonna make it. But I was out and we was at the Little Big Room in Beverly Hills, and I was out in L.A. the night that shit went down at the Vibe Awards. I wasn't, at the Vibe Awards. We was in the studio, but just to see, you know what I'm saying, those legends walk in and out, and the way they was treating me, like they came in, it's like, okay, this the room you working in. It's just like speakers and an interface and a computer, and I'm like, where's the equipment? And they handed me a notepad and a pen. It was like, yeah, write down what you want. Like what you mean? Like any piece of equipment I want?
He said, we're going to set you up.
What?
You name it.
Where
shit,
am I?
You put shit you don't even need. Give me
used
4 headphones.
One day in my life. I was like, man, this is so cool.
I need 19 mics.
No, the beat I turned in didn't have nothing to do with half the equipment that was in that room. But it was just like toys. It was like I got to, play with all
you
of
were
this
given
stuff.
that opportunity to have access to something,
and that was the first
that
time
you couldn't get on your own at that time.
Man,
so
somebody came, like, what you
blame
eating? Like, whatever everybody else is eating. They like, no. Hand me a book this big full of menus, and I'm like, well, it'd be more efficient if we all get. I'm still trying to, be that guy. They like, what do you want to eat out of this book? I'm not asking
like a culture shock,
right? And it was like, I like whatever I want, whatever equipment I want, whatever I want to eat. It's quadruple OGs coming through this bitch. I'm like, man. And I got back to Detroit, went to Guitar Center. I'm sitting there waiting at the bottom of the ramp, waiting for somebody to come down. Welcome to Guitar Center. And it's like every time I said it out my mouth, I was just like, oh man, what am I doing?
That's crazy.
What am I doing? And I'm like, and I'm looking around, not to, because these are still some of my friends, but some of these guys is like, you're going to work at Guitar Center for the rest of your life. Just like Biz said, like some of these guys, that's what they're meant to do. And I'm like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I used to get discouraged at Guitar Center because, like, I play, but I don't play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's some dudes out here that's, like, killing me. And I learned that. If I ain't never learned it before, I learned it at Guitar Center.
Because they was coming in and out of there.
I'm talking...
They going
crazy. I'm just sitting there like, man, I'm going to work at Guitar Center for the rest of my life because I'll never be able to do that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
So then the same dudes would be like, oh, yeah, you Maestro, right? Like, yeah, you make beats, right? Yeah. I got some beats, too. And then we leave the keyboard room, go to the live room or the DJ room or the studio or something, and they pop in their CD and play the beats. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be able to play as good as you. Because if I play as good as you, my beat's going to sound like that. Straight. So it was like, I knew that it was like I played a lot of this stuff good enough to understand how to put it all together in ways that other people wasn't going to put it together. And, with all the genres and all the other stuff I had studied, it was just like I was more versed in a bunch of these different instruments than I knew at the time. And it was like, oh, okay. These guys, this, piano virtuosos, they don't know that that's not, if you're going to play a guitar the way a guitar player will play it, not the way a keyboardist would sound playing a guitar. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I learned that was my niche. I could take, I could make a gospel track and do the drums on, drum pads and bass line on the keyboard with the pitch bender and guitar and strings and all of this stuff. And people that actually been playing for 20, 25, 15 years would be like, oh man, that drummer crazy. Who playing that? That bass
you were able
player.
to emulate that live sound.
And I was like, man, I'm really fooling these dudes to make them think that I'm bringing in live players, and it's just me. So that's why I learned at Guitar Center what my niche was, because I was about to quit seeing them dudes come in there and play. They was like, ice cold. And it was like their hands was moving so fast. I'm like, my hands have never moved that fast ever in my life. They won't ever do that. So yeah, I realized my hands didn't have to move that fast. They just press the right buttons.
In the midst of all of that, from Bizarre hitting you up, telling you let's work on this album, you realize
lightweight going off on me.
Lightweight,
I deserved it.
Going off, thinking, we think we in Michigan and shit.
Let me say, Shay, you gonna work guitar for the rest of your life? I'm like, God.
He gave you right then and there. That path was set for you. It's like, look, this is your decision time.
That hit me hard.
That's dope.
Because from that point, from Biz, you end up working with D12. You end up working
it became an extension
with
of more
M, with Trick. Everybody.
Biz
you know what I'm saying?
Who walked me in the High Tech studio.
Wow.
I was playing keyboards for High Tech for almost a year. Like all the music Soul Child stuff we was doing, that's
my favorite R&B artist too.
Yeah, that was with High Tech. High Tech was like I don't know if he was looking for a keyboardist or how Biz plugged it up. He just called me one day. It's like we're going down to Cincinnati. I'm like, what? Like when? He was like, tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow. It's always tomorrour with Biz. It's always tomorrow.
We going in the week. No, we going tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow. Like my first tour with D12. I'm hype manning for Bizarre solo stuff, right? And I got at the time I had still it exists. This song, I did the beat and I'm singing on the hook, and we used to do the song together and the crowd just go crazy. Me and Denmark Vesey did the beat. Shout out to Denmark. Did the beat. We wrote the hook, and it was just this crazy thing. No matter where we played it, no matter who was in the audience or who the room, everybody went crazy over this joint. So he's like, I want to perform this. He's like, D12 about to go back on tour, and I want to perform this song on the tour. I want you to, come on tour and perform this with us. This is after we did a show in Atlanta with Busta Rhymes. We're driving back. We like in like Tennessee or Ohio in the car having this conversation. And I'm like, okay, when the tour start? 2 days.
Oh, it was 2 days this time.
2 days, right?
2 days.
So, but we still got a half a day to drive.
So it's still tomorrow. So it's still tomorrow.
Like,
it's tomorrow in 2 days.
Detroit. I got to make this decision. And so 2 days later, we was driving out to Jersey to pick up Joe Budden. It was called the Never Say Never Tour. It was called the Never Say Never Tour. I didn't know this till I was on the bus. It got interesting.
A little shaky.
It got real interesting on
This
that
is an
bus.
interesting story.
The Never Say Never Tour was dudes that were never supposed to tour with each other because apparently it's a booking agent that at the time was keeping rival
Keeping them brewing
groups and acts away from each other. So if these two rappers had beef, he in New York, the other one in LA.
Okay.
And they she would move them around to keep them away from each other. So it's something like a Never Say Never tour where, do your history. I don't know if you know about the we're not bringing up old stuff. But between Joe Budden, D12, and Royce the 5'9",
yeah, the little slaughterhouse mix type.
Joe and Royce had beef. Royce and D12 had beef. D12 and Joe had beef. It was like everybody had beef with each other at the time. Yep, and somehow we all on the same tour bus. But that was a dope learning experience. So I'm on stage for the first 2 or 3 shows. I'm waiting backstage. Just, I hear the beat. Doo, doo. I come out, do my joint, run off stage. Next night, I do it again, and Conniving and Swift is like, "Yo, man, why you why you keep running off stage after your song is done? After that one song, I'm like, cause I'm just, I'm doing that one. So it's like, no, that ain't what you think we brought you out here for that. It's like, no, man, you're the hype man. You are
stay
on
out
that.
here.
You stay out here. I'm like, I don't know the songs. Learn them. How you think you gonna learn them if you ain't on stage? So it's like I knew, because I'm a D12 fan, but it was like verbatim, everybody verse in and out, back to back. Like it was like, oh, I gotta know this. No, I gotta internalize this in ways that I hadn't thought of before, and I was learning on tour. That was
interesting.
That was 6 weeks of. Yeah, it got real interesting. But it was dope. It was a learning experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. They held us up at the border.
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
That sound about right.
6 hours.
That sound about right.
Yeah, that's definitely about right.
If you ain't got held up at the border before, you ain't from the D.
Dog.
Man.
It wasn't even the Windsor border. We crossed to Syracuse.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Y'all crossed the opposite way.
Yeah, we could.
Listen,
We picked up Joe
if you
Budden
ain't
first.
if you ain't been held in that area at all, it don't matter what the entrance, because boy, they gonna make sure.
Yeah, they heard and they had to come to find out why they sitting there asking us all these questions. We looked behind the desk. They had the flyer for the show back there, so y'all knew we was.
They knew they just wanted to be a problem.
So we wound up getting changed like outside at the gas station.
Oh wow!
To make it in time. We were still super late for the show, but we still, did the show. Left there. Obi Trice was supposed to be on the tour with us on the first bill. Something happened with that, and so when we left the venue, we left in like 6 cars, and the police followed 3 of the cars and pulled up on them outside. Burger King was like, "Where's Obi? Where's Obi?" So it was like they knew what they was doing. They was trying to wrap them up. Yeah.
No,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
but yeah, that was a real interesting experience. I learned a lot about how the rest of the world looks at hip hop from touring with those guys for so many years and all over the world. It was like people that can't speak the language know every single lyric, and it was wild.
That's crazy.
It was wild. They give it up too. They had no clue as to who I was, why I was there. They just saw me on stage with them. As soon as I say throw your hands up, boom.
That energy was
automatic
there. For sure.
Automatic.
That's dope.
U.S. crowds is a little different. Detroit crowds is.
That's a totally different story.
Everybody come to Detroit got the same. We are a tough crowd to please.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But rightfully so, because we dope. So it's like,
sure.
It's not dope.
I know what you doing, the tours, and you was gone for 6 weeks doing this, production over here, engineering over here, you know what I'm saying? I know it came a point where you wanted to leave Greenfield Plaza Studio and you wanted to get your own studio. And you end up coming across a studio. It's off 8 Mile and Mile, if I'm correct.
Oh, it was not a studio. It was a building.
I mean, a building.
He said it had to become a studio.
It became a studio, right.
Marv
because you said Marv, the dead body in there, right?
Marv thought we was going to find a dead body in there for
That's
sure.
wild.
Marv thought it was I think it was like the furnace room or something. So I first got the keys. Oh, you walking in there. I'm about to open the door. And Marv like, I'm like what? He's like, don't open that. I'm like, why? He's like, man, it's a dead body in there. Like,
he just knew
fuck
it.
Out of here, dog. He's like, man, I'm from the east side. I know. It's a dead body in there. It's like, because the building looked like you were supposed to find a dead body in there. The building it was like a 20-foot puddle in that.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. Half the ceiling wasn't there. It was wild.
Definitely went through a metamorphosis.
Yeah, we had an artist / producer at the time, and I'm like bragging, like, man, we got this new building. I'm telling you, like, we about to go up, man. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out. All right. So he calls me one day, comes over to the studio. Now this is like day number 4, right, of us having the building. We did nothing.
Oh Lord.
All of it was we had squatters living in the building. We had to evict them out. So I show him the building. We walk through and we walking around puddles and watch your head because that piece of the ceiling falling. And he looked at me and was like, "So, you trying to turn this into a studio?" And I was like, yeah.
He ain't see the vision. He ain't see the
yeah.
vision at the time.
And he was like, all right, man. Put his backpack on and walked out the door. I didn't see him for like another year and a half.
That's hilarious.
And then a year and a half later, he was like, man, I really want to come back to the company, man. I'm like, of course you do.
Right,
You know,
right.
Mm-hmm.
actually, it was longer than that. But yeah, he literally laughed at me and walked out of the building. That's how crazy that.
It always come back full circle for you when somebody do that to you. I noticed that. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
And I know
that's
it was,
all right.
I know it was trials and tribulations trying to just get the building and get it together.
Going through that process,
you know,
in general,
saying even
that's a
purchase
lot.
the building. Could you tell the people the inspiration that your mom gave you about that idea?
It kind of came from a couple of different situations. It was, yeah, my mom she just thought renting was stupid because, you know, she did real estate, still does. So it's like, she's the landlord, so she understands the game. Like, stop renting from this person. And at the time, I I couldn't figure out how to make it work. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was a crazy real estate deal that was happening at the time with another piece of property. Somebody tried to snake us, and another argument me and her got in, because basically somebody was subleasing from us.
Okay.
And he was like super late for a really long time, and when he did start paying, he was still coming up short. And my mom, you know, kept working with him. And then all of a sudden, out the blue, he got the last 2.5 years of the rent all at one time, like 6 figures, right? Like, boom. I'm like, wait. And my mom excited. She's like, yo, listen. And I'm like, nah, something ain't right.
Oh, wow.
Something like this seem right to you? Like, this can't be right. How is he? This the same dude. Like, something ain't right. So we got into that argument because at the time, like, legally, I had to also sign off on it. And so I was, you know, kind of holding up the process. And I'm like, something ain't right. So I wound up hearing through the grapevine. I mean, the manager of the place told me myself. He said, yeah, I met the dude says, yeah, we're about to tear down the wall and do such and such and blah, blah. And I'm talking to him like, I think you're going to have a problem with the landlord tearing down this wall and, you know, the whole selling. Because the dude is telling me how he's worked out, you know, the deal with the guy that's subleasing from us to buy the property. And I'm like, he doesn't own it to sell it.
Oh, wow.
So that was about to be an illegal deal anyway.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, okay,
stuff.
so I'm listening. And I'm like, I said, I think you're going to have a problem tearing down this wall. I think you're going to have he's like, no, we checked this load. It is load bearing, but we got the right guys. I said, nah.
That's wild.
You have a problem with the landlord busting down this wall. Oh, no, we talked to him already and such and such and such and such. I said, no, you didn't. Because I'm the owner next door. And he looked at me and was like, oh. So we wound up reworking the deal, Xing dude all the way out because he was, you know, he was just, the whole thing was shady. So we X'd him out, and come to find out the number that they offered him was a number so crazy, which is why he came to us like, oh yeah, I give you your last 2.5 years right now.
Oh, wow.
He was getting the bread from them, and he was just going to take whatever was left over. So we X'd him out of the situation. I took that, you know, because now, you know, it was like, okay, you wasn't messing up. Now we got more money. Here's, you know, your piece. And I took that piece and bought the building on 8 Mile.
Nice.
That's super dope. I want to ask you a question. What is your favorite childhood memory growing up in Detroit?
I don't know if I have a favorite. It's a bunch of them.
The one that comes to you first.
Yeah.
Jitting on Belle Isle. I don't know.
Okay, wait. So you know how to jit.
I used to.
Cause look,
I wasn't that
I literally
good.
made
I wasn't
a
that
post the
good.
other day. I said I want to learn how to jig before I turn 40. I got 5 years to figure it out.
I was the guy that hit them first. You know that dude that hit them first like four or five steps.
Yep, that's me. First 3, 4.
I got.
I go crazy.
Cold with them too. I was the first four or five
I
steps.
pretend like I was doing something with my feet, but start doing everything with my hands.
Yeah. That's all I had.
Man, and again, brother, we want to give you your Detroit flowers, bro.
Yes, because you got some crazy stuff going on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because you got
that.
a lot of stuff going on. You've been working hard as hell over the last 20 plus years and putting in your work. It's it's submitting your name into the city. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even with the deciphered exhibit. You know what I'm saying?
And I was there.
Shout out to Nick Speed and Jenny Richard for
and Jenny Richard, that was dope.
Shout out
those
Nick Speed is
visuals.
genius.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Mr.
You
Nick
was able to
Speed.
make that book, and that book is a part of Detroit history. It's at the DIA right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's back.
And it's like, well, I don't know if it's back, but
you can still order it. You can still order it.
I didn't know if it was.
You can still order
it or however.
But I don't know if the exhibit's still in there though.
I don't think it is.
Okay,
I don't think the exhibit's there anymore. But the book you can still get.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of coming the night when everybody gathered. I think it was like in the Crusty Reception Hall.
Yep.
And then, the exhibit was beautiful. And then just the DJ, all of the legends that was in there. I'm like a pipsqueak in the building, but checking everything out. And I just thought it was super dope to see all those beautiful photos. And I really, even though there are some individuals too that contributed that didn't make the book too, it's all still a win for Detroit hip hop because it really showed a lot of history, especially even some jazz and funk influences. And it was a lot in there that I thought was dope. So
I learned that night that the first studio Trick it went to was also Mo Masters.
That is crazy.
This is the night you're talking about before they actually opened up, and me, Mo Master, and Trick sitting over there talking. I learned a whole lot. Shout outs to the OGs and the legends.
Yes, indeed.
Shout out for sure. You know what I'm saying? You want to let the people know about any upcoming events, any upcoming
Well, we got to talk about that band for sure.
Oh, My Detroit Players.
Yes, because My Detroit Players is going crazy.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
My Detroit Players is like the name Maestro, another thing I tried to run away from. It started off like Emily called and was like, we got this gig with Royce and such, and I forgot what I had going on. I'm like, I can't leave. It was I think it was at APT in New York or something, and it was a band for Royce and Vish because they was doing the gig together. So I'm like, I can't do it. So she got another keyboard player. They rocked for I don't know how many months, and then they had a show in Toronto, and that keyboard player couldn't show up. So she called me again. It's like, I know you said no. Just one off, right? just one off. We gotta go do this show. I'm like, all right, I'll do this one gig with you, and that thing turned into years later. Like, I love this band with all my heart.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, the people in the band are just dope people. Like, fuck the music. Take the music all the way out of it. The people are dope. You know what I'm saying? That's what
easy.
It makes everything so much
and it make
easier.
The energy on stage better too. Like I felt it. You guys, I said it was inspiring to watch. And by the way, My Detroit Players, they just did a gig recently with Nick Speed at the Willis Show Bar, and that was my first time actually coming to the Willis Show Bar. So thank you for that invite. I appreciated that experience. Very nice place. And then to see you guys rock out. What was it? A 5-piece? That night?
That night it was a 6-piece.
6-piece. I'm sorry. No, because my man's was down. Yes, 6-piece. And he was a really, really nice guy. I forgot his name. The one on was it the guitar?
Doomany.
Yes. He was very, very nice guy, by the way.
That's a Parliament Funkadelic OG.
Really?
Yeah, you toured with Uncle George.
That's super dope. Damn. That's super dope. That explains the interaction I had with him. He's a very, very dope individual. He made sure I got to where I needed to be safely, like real stand-up, respectable individual. So shout out to him for that. And you guys really, really brought down the house with your set. You got an encore for show. You know, everybody wanted you to run it back.
I didn't realize
the energy was dope.
When I got off stage, I checked my phone. Trick sent me a message said 2 more songs. Cause he was sitting in the corner. I didn't even see him.
Oh wow! And I didn't even see him. He was super low key.
Yeah, he came in. We got him a booth, so he came in and boop, and sat right down. But yeah, he came and so you left before he came out because he came and we smoked and
yeah, I left. Dope. I left like, right when everything was kind of wrapped.
My Detroit players are smoking with Trick, and I'm just like,
that's great. Shout out Trick.
To be able to watch this, that's dope.
And we got to talk about something else real quick too. Mm-hmm. So, sidebar, because I've known about Maestro for some time, but it hasn't been a lot of like direct connection or work. But we all it came full circle when we interviewed you on the red carpet because you just did something super dope. Scored a movie, if you want to tell the people about that.
So it was my first time. Everybody been saying like some of my beats be 2-2.
2-2.
It's they 2-2. Me and Marv almost. He don't know it. We almost got into a fight because one of these beats, he started the beat and I like finished it and then he said I turned into the thong song. And yeah, I got heated off of that. But so people have been saying like for a minute like this sound like movie stuff. You should try to submit this for TV and blah blah. And one thing led to the next. I'm doing I think Jay Judo. Mm-hmm. Was trying to do a
She's very
session.
Dope. Shout out Jay Judo.
Man, she dope. She was trying to do a session. She's like, I got this feature. And I'm not, I didn't even do the session. Dale wound up doing the session. Come to find out, the feature was K Deezy.
Shout out Brody.
Right?
Shout out K Deezy.
Shout out K Deezy. That's my guy.
That's the homie right there.
So the band director from middle school.
Oh wow.
That played me.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to put this out here like that. K Deezy was the drum major at Ann Arbor Trail at that school.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was like years. It was like the year I got in was his last year. You know what I'm saying? So it was like my 6th grade year was his 8th grade year. But so we, kicking about that, talking about, old friends and stuff like that. And just catching up. And got to working on the next He Liked the Sound. You know what I'm saying? Dale like went crazy on the mix on the one record. So he's like, all right, I'm recording another one. Then he starts talking about like this movie, the soundtrack. We don't know that at the time. Maybe Dale knew. I didn't know that we were recording the soundtrack for the movie.
Wow. So you didn't even know you were getting pulled
into that.
I
didn't know that that's what that was. So then he starts talking about like, yeah, got to do. I'm like, oh man, that's dope. Like, wrote it, directed it, starring. Like,
yeah.
Like that boy went to work. Like,
yes,
he
Red
did.
Flags was excellent.
Red Flags,
crazy
the movie
dope.
we talking about.
Yes,
man, I remember. So one thing led to the next, and he's like, I did a hook on one of the songs, and he's like, and then I played on something else, and he's like, I want you to score the movie. I'm like,
just like that.
Wait, what?
That's dope.
Yeah, we gotta figure this out. We about to set the meeting up with Dennis. Blah blah. I'm like, wait, like now?
Right now.
Like, who are you, bizarre? Like this is happening
It
tomorrow.
wasn't tomorrow. It was right now this time.
It was tomorrow.
It was tomorrow.
He did some bizarre shit. It was like, no, it's tomorrow. This is happening right now.
No, when he put his foot down, he gonna make something move.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it was like it moved real fast, and before you know it, I have so much respect for Charles Spud, whatever you want to call him, Spencer. Mm-hmm. When I got that Pro Tools session and I saw all the work Spud had already did, the first day I saw all them tracks for an hour and 8 minutes or however long it was, I'm like, nope, not today. Click. I turned everything off. I was like, I'll come back to this tomorrow. It was
overwhelming.
It was way overwhelming. I'm like, yo, like no song I've ever mixed in the world.
This many tracks just stacked all
I can mix 10 songs at a time. It's not gonna have this many tracks. Like, golly, it was crazy.
Wow.
So I'm like,
that's new territory.
This is gonna be some work. But I wound up having like some of the most fun I'd ever had in my life working on the movie, because it was like I didn't realize that I'd been preparing for this for like the last 20 years.
That's dope.
It was like
dope.
I'm pulling songs from our substitute teacher at Mumford that we recorded. I'm throwing them in at the dinner scene. Is Miss Francine Dent, for all of y'all who don't know. That's she believed in she called it edutainment. She was like a singer, comedian. She had a song called Ooh Ooh 102. 102 was the room you went to when you was doing some shit you wasn't supposed to. That was the council room. And then she had another song called Hall Walkers. That was all the niggas that was always skipping school. But she kept it fun for us. So it was like during the whole movie process, I'm like, oh man, I got something I did 8 years ago that I can pull, so all these beats that everybody thought was too this and to that and to this, I'm like, oh, doop, 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 I can drop this.
They found their use and they came around full circle for you again.
Real quick.
That's dope.
Yeah. And then I know recently too, we sat down after your performance, I believe, or right before. You did mention something to me, but I don't know if it's something you can talk about. Okay, you can't talk about that one.
I did. I can say this.
Okay.
I scored a commercial for a really major
it's gonna
brand.
Be dope when y'all find
for
out.
a really major brand, and Detroit is about to love it.
Yeah.
Detroit especially is gonna love this thing. But yeah, I can't do that part yet.
That's why I asked. Listen, I got the exclusive. I know what's popping, but listen, when it drop, y'all, it's gonna go crazy.
It's pretty too.
It's gonna go crazy.
It's so pretty.
And proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. Super proud of you,
Major
bro.
moves.
You've been working, man.
Thank you. That just happened, like, I'm thinking I'm just recording some vocals. Mm-hmm. And he was like, and it got to the second half, and it was just no audio. I'm like, hey, bro, like, what we gonna put here?
Did you?
He was like, no, this is what we doing tonight. Like, I just left a show. We wound up not getting done with that thing till 5:30 in the morning.
But it was worth every minute.
It was worth it, because when that logo pop up,
y'all gonna go crazy.
Chills. When that logo popped up, I got chills down my spine. I was like, this is the good stuff. This is the good stuff right here.
Look, I ain't got no voice. Y'all know
people are Detroit exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we know what he's talking about. But when it drop, y'all gonna be like,
we definitely gonna make sure we letting everybody know what's popping too.
Crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, man? We just greatly appreciate your energy, man. You giving us your time. You know what I'm saying? I know you busy. You do your thing. You maneuvering around the city, around the states, wherever you going. You know what I'm saying? But just before we end up wrapping it up, I want to ask you a random question that when you finally put the studio together and everything from this abandoned building, abandoned warehouse, and you finally turned it into what y'all was wanted it to be, I want to know about what happened during that first session of that recording. I know Royce was there.
Royce was the first session, the first music session.
How was that session? You know what I'm saying? The very first one in that building.
He calmed me down because I was nervous. And I was like the first session was like this dude. He had wrote like a book of psalms and prayers and stuff, and we recorded that on the mic. So I almost feel like the building got prayed over before we did anything.
That's dope.
So we did that. The very next session was my homeboy Peter. He's still is huge Royce the 5'9" fan. He's like, I only want one feature, and he wound up getting a feature from Royce, and we had set it up at Greenfield.
Okay.
But, with the way everything was going, I'm like, bro, you might as well wait another week. We'll do it on 8 Mile. So that was the first session. I'm like, when we first opened, the studio was done, the hallway was done, the bathroom was done. That's it. The front, the live room, everything else was towed up. So I'm like apologizing about this, and I know, but what type of professionalism this man is used to. He like, I'm like, you know, we got to fix this. The drywall look a little ugly right here. He's like, man, every studio I ever been to, the drywall look just like that. What you talking about? And I'm like, oh man, you know, got to fix the floor. He's like, no, man, you got a real clean sound. Like you should really relax. Like you're doing a good job. And I'm like, maybe
He cared about is how it sound.
Maybe I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
So he calmed me down about a lot of stuff I was bugging and tripping about. And he was like, no, man, he's like, this is I remember the look on his face. He was looking around and he was like, yo, this is really, really dope. What you doing? This is really beautiful. And I'm like, if you know, first I'm thinking like, is he gassing me up? But that's not what this man do. He don't gas people up. So now I'm listening like, man, like he really mean this. And yeah, that was a dope inspiration for it to be the first session and be like, and as nervous as I was and weird about, you know, this not done and this not done, and even bringing people, I had to walk people past the dirt to get to the pretty part of the studio for like a year and a half. So, yeah, he set my mind at ease with that. He was like, just, you know, whatever you got in your head, just keep going. Eventually people will see it, everything else you got going. But he said, this is a beautiful start. And, yeah, he was right.
That was that confirmation and that extra boost of confidence you needed. So that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Shout out Royce.
For sure. Shout out everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's affiliated with Detroit, from Detroit.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Shout out Silent Riot, you know what I'm saying? Every ounce of that, you know what I'm saying, from Silent Riot Radio, Silent Riot, the record label, like every piece of Silent Riot, every piece of Detroit, you know what I'm saying?
Radio. We did Silent Riot Radio in years. That's great.
Yeah,
any extension of Silent Riot
and
the contributions,
that you know this much stuff. We got to talk for real. I was not playing about that. I don't know how some of these names, like, how you were able to do that.
Tell everybody how they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. Let everybody know where you at with it.
Silent Riot Music on Instagram. Silent Riot Studios. Silent Riot Music on Facebook. Instagram, I'm Maestro Williams. That's Maestro. Spell it the Italian way. Maestro Williams on all that stuff. I'm barely on there because I don't like it.
You mean what?
Social media.
Do you like
I'm working
social
on
media,
it.
period?
I'm working on it. I don't like watching TV. Like I listen to,
because you've been doing the same thing for so long. It's like
I
when
listen
you
to
do
News
get
Radio
free time,
950, bro.
it's creating music. When you do get free time, so
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
When I get out of the studio, I don't want to hear your song. I don't.
Say I want to relax.
Unless it's like, it's very rare where I'm like, you know what, this is new, this just came out. Let me check out what all the hoopla is about.
No,
but for the most part, I want to hear either WWJ News Radio 950 or Classic Days and Jazzy Nights on 90.9. Just
relax.
Yeah, I don't want to hear no hard drums or
no
bass
boom
lines.
bap. No,
you gotta have balance though too, because if you're listening to that all day long, you gotta switch it up.
I need that. Sure. Sometimes I hear stuff on the way home, listening to that jazz station. They be going crazy, and sometimes I hear that. I Shazam it and be like, yo, I'm chopping that up too.
Period. That inspiration.
So, that's how I be, bro. But, again, man, we greatly appreciate you. Maestro Williams in the building.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And you welcome back anytime. You know what I'm saying?
And let us know if you ever need any support
whatever
from
you got
us.
going on. You let us know.
I
We there.
appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there the first time, but next time
I represent both of us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
She
She represent both of us, and she gonna handle it and do what she gotta do. But again, we greatly appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. Everybody out there in the YouTube world, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Sir LA.
And it's been your girl, Dahlia.
And we thank y'all and we appreciate y'all for rocking with the pod, a.k.a. the people of Detroit. You
Mr. Maestro Williams in the building.
Yes, shout out.
Silent Riot.
Dog, how the hell? You an ill nigga for that. I don't know how you did that.
It's a long story.
Hey, we about to cut that and make it a sound bite. Y'all already know what it is, man. People in Detroit, man.
Peace.
What up, doe? Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Sir LA.
And it's me, your girl, Dahlia.
And y'all in here rocking with the pod, aka
The people of Detroit.
And today, we just wanted to drop some jewels on y'all, about our ventures and what's going on. As y'all know, the podcast, The People of Detroit, is sponsored by Shyware LLC and also Natural Nation LLC. But as far as Shyware, that's on hold for right now, but it is coming very soon. Shout out my daughter, LaShayla, dedicated to her. But today we talking about Natural Nation. And as far as Natural Nation, we got a lot to offer. We got a whole location. We got a lot of natural hygiene products. And it's very good for the skin, very good for the body. And right here next to me, we got the CEO herself, Miss Dahlia. And I'm going to let her go into detail and tell y'all about the business.
Nothing brings me greater joy than to deliver those smell good goodies that you love. We have a variety of soaps, body butters, scrubs. We even make beard balms for men. He be twinkling and glistening.
You know it.
And we have relaxing bath teas. Now, you can come see us 7 days a week at 12 Oaks Mall in Novi. We're located right near the Cheesecake Factory, so you can get that good grub and get some self-care at the same time.
Yes.
Outside of that, we're still processing online orders. Just make sure you hit the website at www.therealnaturalnation.com. And you can follow us on IG or Facebook. We love to see those reviews because y'all opinions on the products is what keep us going and delivering quality.
Yes. And of course, we hope to see as many of y'all as soon as possible. Like Dahlia said, we located at 12 Oaks, right by the Cheesecake Factory on the first floor. Come take a peek at what we got, because I'm quite sure you'll be intrigued and you'll be leaving with something. Because, as far as this been going, this like 5th year strong, and I feel we bigger than ever and we still got a lot more stuff to do. But at the end of it, we gonna get to the bag and we gonna be a boss in our own state, and do what we gotta do.
Okay.
But with that being said, shout out everybody who has been associated with the People of Detroit podcast. All of our guests from this point that has been on there, that has been on here from Chef Tony, KDZ, we had Tamashi on, Marcel Stewart. Shout out Tommy B, my brother. Rest in peace, bro. I'm always hold you down. And, go check out our videos. We got a lot of different videos dealing with a lot of different sectors of Detroit, and it's helpful to y'all. So it might be people out there that need motivation. Come take a look at our videos, and I promise you will get that motivation, because the people we speak with, they only a phone call away. Some of them a DM away. And if you need any assistance with anything from a life coach, getting your business in line, just anything of that nature, watch our episodes, see who we have on, because it's all people that's of importance of Detroit that helps that community. So again, in the meantime and between time, y'all already know what it is. Sir LA.
It's me, your girl, Dahlia.
And thank y'all for rocking with the pod this long. We've been holding it down. It's our 4th month strong. But we appreciate it. You already know what it is. The People of Detroit.